1567. Slavery, established to run the sugar plantations on Antigua, was abolished in 1834. The islands became an independent state within the British Commonwealth of Nations in 1981. On the 6th of September 2017, Hurricane Irma passed over the island of Barbuda, devastating the island and forcing the evacuation of the population to Antigua. Almost all the structures on Barbuda were destroyed and the vegetation stripped, but Antigua was spared the worst.
Antigua and Barbuda summary.
Adobe PDF.
Geography.
Antigua and Barbuda panel, expanded.
Location: Caribbean. Islands between the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean, east-southeast of Puerto Rico.
Geographic coordinates: 1703 N, 6148 W.
Map references: Central America and the Caribbean.
Area, total:
442.6 square kilometers. Antigua 280 square kilometers. Barbuda 161 square kilometers.
Land:
442.6 square kilometers.
Water:
0 square kilometers.
Note:
Includes Redondo, 1.6 square kilometers.
Country comparison to the world:
201.
Area, comparative: 2.5 times the size of Washington, D.C.
Land boundaries: 0 kilometers.
Coastline: 153 kilometers.
Maritime claims: territorial sea.
12 nanometers.
Exclusive economic zone:
200 nanometers.
contiguous zone:
24 nanometers.
continental shelf:
200 nanometers or to the edge of the continental margin.
climate: tropical maritime, little seasonal temperature variation.
Terrain: mostly low-lying limestone and coral islands, with some higher volcanic areas.
Elevation: 0 m lowest point.
Caribbean Sea:
402 highest point.
Mount Obama.
Natural resources: NEGL. Pleasant climate fosters tourism.
Land use: agricultural land,
20.5%.
arable land,
9.1%. / permanent crops,
2.3%, permanent pasture,
9.1%.
forest,
22.3%.
other,
57.2%.
irrigated land, 1.3 square kilometers.
Population distribution: the island of Antigua is home to approximately 97% of the population. Nearly the entire population of Barbuda lives in Codrington.
Natural hazards: hurricanes and tropical storms, July to October, periodic droughts.
Environment: current issues. Water management: a major concern because of limited natural fresh water resources is further hampered by the clearing of trees to increase crop production, causing rainfall to run off quickly.
Environment: international agreements. Party 2.
Biodiversity: climate change Kyoto Protocol. Desertification, endangered species, environmental modification, hazardous wastes, law of the sea, marine dumping, ozone layer protection, ship pollution, wetlands, whaling.
Signed, but not ratified.
None of the selected agreements.
Geography: note: Antigua has a deeply indented shoreline with many natural harbors and beaches. Barbuda has a large western harbor.
People and society:
Antigua and Barbuda panel, expanded.
population: 95,882.
Country comparison to the world:
197.
Nationality: noun.
Antiguan, S. Barbudan, S.
Adjective:
Antiguan, Barbudan.
Ethnic groups: Black 87.3%, Mixed 4.7%, Hispanic 2.7%, White 1.6%, Other 2.7%, Unspecified 0.9%.
Note:
Data represent population by ethnic group.
languages: English, official, Antiguan Creole.
Religions: Protestant 68.3%, Anglican 17.6%, Seventh-day Adventist 12.4%, Pentecostal 12.2%, Moravian 8.3%, Methodist 5.6%, Wesleyan Holiness 4.5%, Church of God 4.1%, Baptist 3.6%, Roman Catholic 8.2%, Other 12.2%, Unspecified 5.5%, None 5.9%.
Age structure: 0 to 14 years.
22.91%, male 11,165/female 10,800.
15 to 24 years.
16.6%, male 7,924/female 7,997.
25 to 54 years.
42.03%, male 18,438/female 21,861.
55 to 64 years.
10.13%, male 4,346/female 5,370.
65 years and over.
8.32%, male 3,422/female 4,559.
Population pyramid.
Population pyramid.
Dependency ratios.
Dependency ratios are a measure of the age structure of a population. They relate the number of individuals that are likely to be economically dependent on the support of others. Dependency ratios contrast the ratio of youths, ages 0–14, and the elderly, ages 65+, to the number of those in the working age group, ages 15–64. Changes in the dependency ratio provide an indication of potential social support requirements resulting from changes in population age structures. As a fertility lever. More dependency ratios field listing.
Total dependency ratio.
45.2.
Youth dependency ratio.
35.7.
Elderly dependency ratio.
9.6.
Potential support ratio.
10.5.
Median age, total.
32.2 years.
Male.
30.2 years.
Female.
33.8 years.
Country comparison to the world.
104.
Population growth rate.
The average annual percent change in the population, resulting from a surplus, or deficit, of births over deaths and the balance of migrants entering and leaving a country. The rate may be positive or negative. The growth rate is a factor in determining how great a burden would be imposed on a country by the changing needs of its people for infrastructure, for example, schools, hospitals, housing, roads, resources, for example, food, water, electricity, and jobs. Rapid population growth can be seen as more population growth rate field listing.
1.2%.
Country comparison to the world.
91.
Birth rate. 15.6 births out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
115.
Death rate. 5.8 deaths out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
172.
Net migration rate. 2.2 migrants out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
42.
Population distribution. The island of Antigua is home to approximately 97% of the population. Nearly the entire population of Barbuda lives in Codrington.
Urbanization. Urban population.
24.6% of total population.
Rate of urbanization.
0.55% annual rate of change.
Major urban areas. Population. 21,000 St. John's, capital.
Sex ratio at birth.
1.05 male/s/female.
0 to 14 years.
1.03 male/s/female.
15 to 24 years.
0.99 male/s/female.
25 to 54 years.
0.84 male/s/female.
55 to 64 years.
0.82 male/s/female.
65 years and over.
0.76 male/s/female.
Total population.
0.9 male/s/female.
Infant mortality rate, total.
11.7 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Male.
13.5 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Female.
9.9 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Country comparison to the world.
119.
Life expectancy at birth, total population.
76.9 years.
Male.
74.8 years.
Female.
79.2 years.
Country comparison to the world.
82.
Total fertility rate, 1.99 children born/woman.
Country comparison to the world.
119.
Health expenditures, 5.5% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
124.
Hospital bed density, 3.8 beds out of 1,000 population.
Drinking water source, improved.
Urban.
97.9% of population.
Rural.
97.9% of population.
Total.
97.9% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban.
2.1% of population.
Rural.
2.1% of population.
Total.
2.1% of population.
Sanitation facility access, improved.
Urban.
91.4% of population.
Rural.
91.4% of population.
Total.
91.4% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban.
8.6% of population.
Rural.
8.6% of population.
Total.
8.6% of population.
HIV/AIDS, adult prevalence rate, NA.
HIV/AIDS, people living with HIV/AIDS, NA.
HIV/AIDS, deaths, NA.
Major infectious diseases, note.
Active local transmission of Zika virus by Aedes species mosquitoes has been identified in this country. As of August 2016, it poses an important risk. A large number of cases possible among U.S. citizens if bitten by an infective mosquito. Other less common ways to get Zika are through sex, via blood transfusion, or during pregnancy, in which the pregnant woman passes Zika virus to her fetus.
Obesity, adult prevalence rate, 18.9%.
Country comparison to the world.
113.
Education expenditures, 2.5% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
163.
Literacy, definition.
Age 15 and over has completed 5 or more years of schooling.
Total population.
99%.
Male.
98.4%.
Female.
99.4%.
School life expectancy, primary to tertiary education.
School life expectancy, SLE, is the total number of years of schooling, primary to tertiary, that a child can expect to receive, assuming that the probability of his or her being enrolled in school at any particular future age is equal to the current enrollment ratio at that age. Caution must be maintained when utilizing this indicator in international comparisons. For example, a year or grade completed in one country is not necessarily the same in terms of educational content or quality. More school life expectancy, primary to tertiary education, field listing.
Total.
14 years.
Male.
13 years.
Female.
15 years.
Government.
Antigua and Barbuda panel. Expanded.
Country name, conventional long form.
None.
Conventional short form.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Etymology.
Antigo is Spanish for ancient or old. The island was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1493 and, according to tradition, named by him after the church of Santa Maria la Antigua, Old St. Mary's, in Seville. Barbuda is Spanish for bearded, and the adjective may refer to the alleged beards of the indigenous people or to the island's bearded fig trees.
Government type, parliamentary democracy, parliament, under a constitutional monarchy, a commonwealth realm.
Capital, name.
St. John's.
Geographic coordinates.
1707 N, 6151 Watt.
Time difference.
UK4, 1 hour ahead of Washington, D.C., during standard time.
Administrative divisions, 6 parishes and 2 dependencies, Barbuda, Redunda, St. George, St. John, St. Mary, St. Paul, St. Peter, St. Philip.
Independence.
For most countries, this entry gives the date that sovereignty was achieved and from which nation, empire, or trusteeship. For the other countries, the date given may not represent independence in the strict sense, but rather some significant nationhood event such as the traditional founding date or the date of unification, federation, confederation, establishment, fundamental change in the form of government, or state succession. For a number of countries, the establishment of statehood. More independence field listing.
The 1st of November 1981, from the UK.
National holiday. Independence Day, 1 November, 1981.
Constitution history.
Several previous, latest presented the 31st of July 1981, effective the 31st of October 1981. The Antigua and Barbuda Constitution Order 1981.
Amendments.
Proposed by either House of Parliament. Passage of amendments to constitutional sections such as citizenship, fundamental rights and freedoms, the establishment, power, and authority of the executive and legislative branches, the Supreme Court order, and the procedure for amending the Constitution requires approval by at least 2/3 majority vote of the membership of both houses, approval by at least 2/3 majority in a referendum, and assent to by the Governor-General. Passage of other amendments requires only 2/3 majority vote by both houses. Amended 2009. 2011.
Legal system. Common law based on the English model.
International Law Organization participation. Has not submitted an ICJ jurisdiction declaration, except SIC jurisdiction.
Citizenship. Citizenship by birth.
Yes.
Citizenship by descent only.
Yes.
Dual citizenship recognized.
Yes.
Residency requirement for naturalization.
7 years.
Suffrage. 18 years of age. Universal.
Executive branch. Chief of State.
Queen Elizabeth II. Since the 6th of February 1952. Represented by Governor-General Rodney Williams. Since the 14th of August 2014.
Head of Government.
Prime Minister Gaston Brown. Since the 13th of June 2014.
Cabinet.
Council of Ministers appointed by the Governor-General on the advice of the Prime Minister.
Elections. Appointments.
The monarchy is hereditary. Governor-General appointed by the monarch on the advice of the Prime Minister. Following legislative elections, the leader of the majority party or majority coalition usually appointed Prime Minister by the Governor-General.
Legislative branch. Description.
Bicameral Parliament consists of
Senate, 17 seats. Members appointed by the Governor-General.
House of Representatives, 17 seats. Members directly elected in single-seat constituencies by a simple majority vote to serve 5-year terms.
Elections. Senate, last appointed on the 26th of March 2018. Next now.
House of Representatives, last held on the 21st of March 2018. Next to be held in March 2023.
Election results. Senate, composition. Men 8, women 9%, of women 52.9%.
House of Representatives, percent of vote by party, Abbott 59.4%, up 37.2%, BPM 1.4%, other 1.9%. Seats by party, Abbott 15, up 1, BPM 1. Composition, men 17, women 2%, of women 10.5%. Note, total Parliament percent of women 30.6%.
Judicial branch, highest courts.
The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ECSC, is the superior court of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. The ECSC, headquartered on St. Lucia, consists of the Court of Appeal, headed by the Chief Justice and 4 judges, and the High Court with 18 judges. The Court of Appeal is itinerant, traveling to member states on a schedule to hear appeals from the High Court in subordinate courts. High Court judges reside at the member states with 2 assigned to Antigua and Barbuda.
Judge selection and term of office.
Chief Justice of Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court appointed by Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. Other justices and judges appointed by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Court of Appeal justices appointed for life with mandatory retirement at age 65. High Court judges appointed for life with mandatory retirement at age 62.
Subordinate courts.
Industrial Court. Magistrates' courts.
Political parties and leaders. Antigua Caribbean Liberation Movement or ACLM.
Antigua Labour Party or ABLP. Gaston Brown.
Antigua Barbuda True Labour Party or ATLP. Charlene Samuel.
Barbuda People's Movement or BPM. Trevor Walker.
Barbuda People's Movement for Change. Arthur Nibbs.
Barbudans for a Better Barbuda. Aldrich Samuel.
Democratic National Alliance or DNA. Joanne Massiah.
Go Green for Life. Owen George.
Progressive Labour Movement or PLM.
United National Democratic Party or UNDP.
United Progressive Party or UPP. Harold Lovell, a coalition of ACLM, PLM, UNDP.
International Organization Participation AP, AUSIS, C, CARICOM, CDB, CELAC, FAO, G77, IBD, ICAO, IC, NGOs, ICT, ICM, IDA, IFAD, IFX, ELO, IMF, EMO, IMSO, Interpol, IOC, IOM, ISO, Subscriber, ITU, ITUC, NGOs, MEGA, NAM, Observer, OAS, OX, OpenAll, OPCW, Petro-Caribe, UN, UNCTAD, UNESCO, UPU, UF2, NGOs, WHO, WIPO, WMO, RITO.
Diplomatic representation in the U.S. Chief of Mission.
Ambassador Sir Arnold Sanders, since the 17th of September 2015.
Chancery.
3216 New Mexico Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20016.
Telephone.
1-202-362-5122.
Fax.
1-202-362-5525.
Consulates General.
Miami, New York.
Diplomatic representation from the U.S. The U.S. does not have an embassy in Antigua and Barbuda. The U.S. ambassador to Barbados is accredited to Antigua and Barbuda.
Flag description: red, with an inverted isosceles triangle based on the top edge of the flag. The triangle contains 3 horizontal bands of black, top, light blue, and white, with a yellow rising sun in the black band. The sun symbolizes the dawn of a new era, black represents the African heritage of most of the population, blue is for hope, and red is for the dynamism of the people. The V stands for victory. The success of yellow, blue, and white coloring is also meant to evoke the country's tourist attractions of sun, sea, and sand.
National symbols.
A national symbol is a faunal, floral, or other abstract representation, or some distinctive object that over time has come to be closely identified with a country or entity. Not all countries have national symbols. A few countries have more than one. National symbol, S. Field listing.
Fallow deer. National colors.
Red, white, blue, black, yellow.
National anthem.
A generally patriotic musical composition, usually in the form of a song or hymn of praise, that evokes and eulogizes the history, traditions, or struggles of a nation or its people. National anthems can be officially recognized as a national song by a country's constitution or by an enacted law, or simply by tradition. Although most anthems contain lyrics, some do not. National anthem field listing.
Name.
Fair Antigua, we salute thee.
Lyrics. Music.
Novell Hamilton Richards/Walter Garnett Peacock Chambers.
Note.
Adopted 1967. As a Commonwealth country, in addition to the national anthem, God Save the Queen, serves as the royal anthem. See United Kingdom.
Economy.
Antigua and Barbuda panel expanded.
Economy. Overview. Tourism continues to dominate Antigua and Barbuda's economy, accounting for nearly 60% of GDP and 40% of investment. The dual island nation's agricultural production is focused on the domestic market and constrained by a limited water supply and a labor shortage stemming from the lure of higher wages in tourism and construction. Manufacturing comprises enclave-type assembly for export, with major products being bedding, handicrafts, and electronic components.
Like other countries in the region, Antigua's economy was severely hit by effects of the global economic recession in 2009. The country suffered from the collapse of its largest private sector employer, a steep decline in tourism, a rise in debt, and a sharp economic contraction between 2009 and 2011. Antigua has not yet returned to its pre-crisis growth levels. Barbuda suffered significant damages after hurricanes Irma and Maria passed through the Caribbean in 2017.
Prospects for economic growth in the medium term will continue to depend on tourist arrivals from the US, Canada, and Europe, and could be disrupted by potential damage from natural disasters. The new government, elected in 2014 and led by Prime Minister Gaston Brown, continues to face significant fiscal challenges. The government places some hope in a new citizenship by investment program, to both reduce public debt levels and spur growth, and a resolution of a WTO dispute with the US.
GDP, purchasing power parity, $2.398 billion.
$2.334 billion.
$2.215 billion.
Note.
Data in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
194.
GDP. Official exchange rate, $1.524 billion.
GDP, real growth rate, 2.8%.
5.3%.
4.1%.
Country comparison to the world.
120.
GDP, per capita. PPP, $26,400.
$25,900.
$24,900.
Note.
Data are in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
78.
Gross national saving.
Gross national saving is derived by deducting final consumption expenditure, household plus government, from gross national disposable income, and consists of personal saving, plus business saving, the sum of the capital consumption allowance and retained business profits, plus government saving, the excess of tax revenues over expenditures, but excludes foreign saving, the excess of imports of goods and services over exports. The figures are presented as a percent of GDP. A negative